Hello everyone, and welcome to the RealTalkSportsZone blog. My name is Jake Murray, I'm your host, and today is January 11th, 2016, and so this is the first episode, or first podcast, if you want to call it, and yesterday was a tough day for DC sports fans, as the Redskins fell to the Green Bay Packers in their playoff game 35-18. So that's going to be the main focus of this podcast today. Just a little recap of the season, my thoughts and opinions moving forward, and how I think the team can improve in the future. So to start off, talking about the game yesterday, we started off looking good on defense with the safety and getting good pressure on Rodgers to start the game, and everything just looked like it was clicking. But, good teams will do what good teams do. They'll turn it around and make the adjustments needed to, and that's what the Packers did. The Redskins went up 11-0 and went on to get outscored 35-7 over the rest of the game and lost 35-18. So that's, on the surface, a rough loss. But in my opinion, I think it was a good growing experience for the team. And it's not that big of a deal that we lost in this way. I think it was a good rebound from last year, where we finished at the bottom of the NFC East. No one expected us to do anything this year. I don't even think the team expected us to do well. So it was good that we had two major questions coming into the year, and that was our quarterback play and our coaching. And it seems like we have both of those figured out with Jay Gruden as our coach, who I think did a phenomenal job this year of just rallying the team, keeping them out of the negative spotlight, which the Redskins are usually always in. So it was good to have some sort of stability going on there. And then Kirk Cousins really, really showed up this year, which I was very impressed with. For a guy who was always overlooked by everyone, sitting behind RG3 and eventually Colt McCoy. I mean, to be honest, I didn't think Kirk Cousins was going to be that good. I heard all these scouts talking all these good things about him, but I just didn't see it when he was out on the field. I didn't see him being much better than RG3, and I didn't think he was one of our best options, but the way he grew and has improved over the course of this season is pretty remarkable, I think. And I honestly think that he deserves to get paid. I don't know the figures on that. That's going to be the main topic of discussion until they figure out what he's going to do, or what the team's going to do with his contract moving forward. But I think for the first time in a while, probably the first time since I've been alive, the Redskins have a solid coach and a solid quarterback that can have a team rally around them. And hopefully moving forward, we can have this increased stability. Because if you look around the NFC East, I don't see another team in the division that has the stability that we do right now. You got two teams, the Giants and the Eagles, both losing their head coach. And then you got the Cowboys, who are a total mess, which is really funny to see because everyone thought they were going to win the division, and they finished in last. So as a Redskins fan, that feels great. So we're going to talk about the draft now. My opinion on the draft. So what Aaron Rodgers did to the Redskins defense is a crime in 48 states. That was he just picked us apart in the second half. their offensive line just outworked our defensive line. Our young secondary just couldn't keep up. Aaron Rodgers was playing mind games with the entire Redskins sideline when they were running that no-huddle offense. He just made us look like we didn't belong in the playoffs. And some people might argue that, but my feelings towards that is if we didn't belong in the playoffs, we wouldn't have won those games to make it in the playoffs. So, yeah. But I think the Redskins really need to address the defensive side of the ball, whether that be in the draft or through free agency, through a trade. I mean, we just need to address a lot of issues on that side of the ball. I mean, when your starting linebackers are led by Will Compton, who, I mean, he had a great year, but I mean, for a playoff football team and for a team that's trying to make that next step, and you can just see Aaron Rodgers just those short little passes, and even when the running backs would get into that second level, we just didn't have the answers for him. And then you got Quentin Dunbar out at cornerback, which is a great story. He was a wide receiver coming into camp, and he realized that his only shot to make the team was to convert to cornerback. And he did that and played remarkable all year, had a big interception down the stretch in the regular season. But, I mean, his first playoff game as a cornerback really showed. He got burned on a couple plays, including a wide-open touchdown pass towards the end of the game. I mean, that's all just a learning experience, and with injuries, and D'Angelo Hall's getting a little old, so he's moved to safety, so our cornerback depth is not exactly the best, and our linebacker play has not been very good either. So I'm not just saying this because I'm a Notre Dame fan, but I think the Redskins would be smart to draft Jalen Smith, the linebacker for Notre Dame, one of the best players in college football, who unfortunately suffered a big knee injury in the Fiesta Bowl against Ohio State. So he looks like he has a torn ACL and MCL, but I believe that if he rehabs and comes back strong, which I know he will, he could be a huge force on defense. He plays the game hard. He's very smart on the defensive end, knows where he should be playing, can read plays very well. He's a good teammate. He'll stay out of trouble, which is always good. So I think that would be a smart choice, but we'll see. I haven't really looked into the linebacking core for free agents, but I think the Redskins will make some moves that address that side of the ball because they obviously see that there's a need for it. We had injuries all year, and I think that next season, if we could stay healthy, you got some guys coming back with some experience, that it should be a good run for the team. Hopefully our defense will be much improved. Hopefully Kirk Cousins will be back and improved. Then you got Deshaun Jackson, who, if he can stay healthy, is one of the best receivers in the game. You have Jordan Reed, who's arguably one of the best tight ends in the game. Alfred Morris, this could have been his last game in a Redskins uniform. We'll see how that goes. He's not been producing as well as he probably is used to, but that's because of the emergence of Matt Jones and a whole committee of running backs. But that's the main points I have for the Redskins this year. So now I want to touch up on a team in Washington that might actually do better in the playoffs than the Redskins. So the Washington Capitals right now are just ridiculous. They're the best team in hockey, and they're led by Alex Ovechkin, who last night scored his 500 and 501st NHL goal, making him the first Russian-born player and first Capitals player to reach that mark in his career, which is awesome to see. He's a great player, and he's becoming a much better team player. Early in his career, he wouldn't play much defense. He was kind of selfish, but he's really straightened those things out and is more focused on winning because he realizes the thing that Crosby and these guys like Patrick Kane, the things that they have that he doesn't, is a Stanley Cup championship, and he wants one more than anything. And For the first time, it looks as if the Caps may have a team that is built for the playoffs and not just built for regular season success, which has been what we're known for in the past 10, 12 years, is just being good in the regular season and falling flat in the playoffs. But we'll see. It's a long season. You don't know what's going to happen, but things are looking good for the Caps. And then you got the Nationals. They should be starting spring training in the next month or two. So that's going to be an awesome team to watch this year. They just traded away longtime reliever Drew Storen to the Toronto Blue Jays for center fielder Ben Revere, which is a great move in my opinion. You had Storen, who he's been a great closer, but the postseason failures have kind of put a damper on his success and his confidence for the Nationals. And then signing Jonathan Papelbon just made things much worse. And it was clear that his time here was pretty much over after the season. It was more of a question as to where he would go and who we would get back for him. And with the departure of Denard Span, it looks like Ben Revere will just step in and fill that role perfectly. He gets on base. He doesn't strike out. He's a good fielder. He's fast. And he's a great guy in the locker room, which is what we need moving forward. With a new manager, Dusty Baker, who Bryce Harper said he's very excited to play for, which is always good coming from the reigning NL MVP. So we'll see. We got a lot of sports going on in DC. I mean, the Wizards, they're injured, but John Wall's having an all-star caliber season, and no one's talking about him, which is unfortunate. But that's what happens when you're not on a team with LeBron James or Kevin Durant or Kobe Bryant. I mean, Kyrie Irving missed 2 or 3 months of the season, and he's beating John Wall in All-Star Game voting, which is just blows my mind. John Wall is if not the best, he's the second best point guard in the NBA, and Kyrie Irving's played half the games John Wall has and is not even performing close to John Wall, and he's just leading it because it's a popularity contest and because he plays with LeBron. So, I mean, that's my take on that. Don't really know what else to say about the Wizards other than that they're injured, but if they can get healthy, maybe they can turn it around and make a run in the second half. We'll have to keep an eye on that. So I'm going to make a couple bold predictions in the last few minutes of this first podcast. So the first one is going to be that the Capitals and the Nationals both win championships this season. I know that sounds ridiculous, but that's why they're bold predictions. Bryce Harper's going to win the Triple Crown. The Wizards are going to land Kevin Durant. And RG3 is going to lose twice to Kirk Cousins when RG3 goes to the Dallas Cowboys. My thinking on this is that Tony Romo will either get hurt again next year or might not even play next year. I just think he's so old and fragile that the next hit might be the last hit for his career. So he's looking like his days are numbered. And I think if RG3 is the backup, he'll have to come in, play the Redskins twice. I think Kirk Cousins will give him the work twice in one season. So that's about all I got for this podcast. Sorry, it's a little raw. I'm not sitting here with a script, so it's kind of me just talking about whatever comes to my head. They're only going to get better. Hopefully I'll have some guests on here. Maybe try to get some interviews, and I don't know. We'll see where this goes from here. This is kind of just the thing I've always wanted to do. But I appreciate everybody for listening and checking in. Let me know what you guys want to hear, what you want to hear me talk about in the future moving forward, and if any of you are interested in hopping on this podcast. So once again, thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys later.